You're just gonna introduce yourself. Like, we're gonna be like, okay, hey, we're here. We're gonna get started with the questions.
Okay.
What's up, Nurse Nook family, and welcome back to the Nurse Nook. Today I have a really exciting video for you guys. Today is going to be a cook with me / Q&A with a special guest. Today my boyfriend Alvin is going to be joining us. If you guys have not already seen my boyfriend tag that we did a couple months ago, click down below, that's where it's going to be. But I had you guys ask me a bunch of questions on my Instagram. Make sure y'all are following on my Instagram story, and we got tons and tons of questions. This is going to be all nursing related, and so we're just going to try to go through the most frequently asked questions and while we cook with you guys. Today we're going to be cooking with my meal that I got this week from Green Chef. Today's meal is panko chicken with lemon alloy. Did I say that right? Is it alloy? This is what we're gonna attempt to make. So I love Green Chef. They are a USDA certified organic company. They send pre-packaged, hand-picked, ready to cook ingredients to my house every week. I love it because although I try to be as healthy as I can, I feel like I am the type of person that just likes one dish and makes it every single day, every single week. So mine is either like rice and chicken or like some type of chicken and pasta, or like chicken, something with chicken and rice involved. That is just what I do. And so I love Green Chef. A lot of their meals come with such a variety of vegetables that I wouldn't normally make or even think of to make on my own. It just switches it up. It's delicious. It's super convenient. Being a nurse, being on a super busy schedule, I literally can open my door and just pick up my food for the week. Another thing I love is that it's super inclusive about different types of diet. So they have vegan, vegetarian, paleo, keto diet. So if I feel like being a vegan one week, I can be a vegan one week. And then if I want to go back to my regular wholesome diet another week, I can do that. And so it gives a lot of variety. And I teamed up with them to give you guys $80 off of your 4 first boxes and free shipping. So if you guys go to greenchef.us/nursenick80 and use the code nursenick80, y'all will get $80 off your first 4 boxes. All right, so let's get into the cooking because we're hungry, and I'm gonna bring Alvin in and we're gonna start our cooking with us Q&A video. Okay, so we're ready to make our meal. Alvin was making fun of me earlier because I pronounced this wrong. How do you say it?
Aioli.
Lemon aioli. I don't know what I said earlier, ally. But we are ready to cook and answer your questions. So Chef Alvo is gonna get started over here. So we are gonna take our sun-dried tomatoes, and soak them in some water. So the first question we got is, do you like day shift or night shift better? We have both done day and night shift, so I think we both have like a good idea of what we like.
Yeah, agreed.
I always say that I like, our hands are clean, by the way. We just washed our hands. I like working the night shift better, but I like my life, put this in a trash bag, I like my life on day shift a little bit more.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say nights is better as far as working, but days is better for outside of life.
Yes, so. Because you don't have to spend like half of your day like sleeping. When you're on night shift, it's like even if you're off that day, you got off at like 7:30 in the morning, you have to sleep to at least 3. And so it's just, I wish you guys could see Biscuit behind us. He wants to be in the video so bad. I just feel more like a well-rounded human being on day shift because I feel like I can just sleep better, do more. Even though I love night shift people, the crew, like working night shift, there's not really like administrators, management around, but I still would prefer days. So the next question is, what inspired y'all to be nurses?
So basically, my dad, he is a CRNA, and he kind of showed me the path of nursing. And I actually had the opportunity to shadow my cousin who works in Louisiana as a nurse practitioner, and I enjoyed it. I thought nursing was super cool. I thought, basically the advancement was super cool. I thought the hospital just kind of brought a lot of interest. I liked using science and seeing how science made a difference in people's lives, and also liked making a difference in people's lives.
So professional.
Yeah.
That's one thing about Alvin. He is like a very logical person, so it kind of makes sense for him to be in like a science-based career, just because he's very like factual in life. Like everything needs a reason, like a hypothesis.
Hypothesis.
I talked about this a lot on my channel, like what made me want to be a nurse. I'm scared we're gonna just be like filming, like just cut our fingers open during this. What inspired me to be a nurse is I literally only wanted to go into NICU nursing. I was obsessed with babies for like the majority of my life, still am kind of. And so I found out about NICU nursing and I was like, oh my God, that's literally perfect. Because I always thought about nursing, but I thought it was kind of gross. I'm like, ew, I know I'm very squeamish. And so I found out about NICU nursing and I was like, bet, perfect. Went to nursing school, learned a lot about it. Never went to NICU. I started in the ER, like going from only wanting to nursing to be a NICU nurse and then starting in like the craziest unit that you can possibly find. I worked in the ER and then I went to pediatric trauma, which how that relates to NICU nursing, I have no idea, but I really liked it. And so NICU may still be in the cards for me, but I just wanted to get that other stuff out of my system. And so that's what brought me into nursing. Okay, so we're gonna start getting our breadcrumbs ready. I'm gonna do 2 separate bowls because I don't eat cheese, but Alvin does, so we'll do yours with cheese and then mine without. So the next question is, do we miss working together? If you saw my previous video, our boyfriend tag, you know that we did work together. And since I switched to, the oven's ready. Since I switched to postpartum nursing, we no longer work together. I'll let you answer.
Yeah, I miss working with it. It's kind of nice when you walk out your patient's room and you see your pretty girlfriend walking the hallways and you're like, dang, that's me.
Yeah, I do miss working with him a lot. I feel like we shared so much, being able to work together. And we still share a lot, but working on separate units, I was kind of like, aw, I kind of miss that man. Even though we still see each other all the time, it's still different. Like I don't know, just like working in such like a high stress environment together was like a really cool experience. But yes, we do miss it. So our next question is, how do you motivate yourself to study? So someone actually asked in one of the questions, when does Alvin graduate as an RN? And I thought that was funny. Alvin has been an RN just as long as I have. He's actually graduating NP school, so that might be what they meant. But he graduates in like 2 months. What was the question? Oh, how do you motivate yourself to study? So you study more than I do, so you can answer that.
Personally, the way I motivate myself to study, honestly, I think about, if I don't study, obviously I'm gonna fail. And not only am I studying to help me with the test, but I'm also studying to increase my knowledge, which will go into my practice soon enough. So basically, you're not studying just for yourself, you're studying for your patients also. So that's a big factor in what can push you,
Yeah, and I feel like you genuinely have to want to like help people. Because if you go in with the idea of like, oh, I just want to make money as a nurse, it's like you're not going to be interested in learning and studying about all this stuff. But if you have the idea, like, I want to make sure that I'm the best nurse possible, I want to know all the stuff so that I can, take care of my patients, it makes it a little bit easier to be motivated to study, just because your goal or your desire, your motivation is outside of yourself. So it makes it a little bit easier because you're less likely to give up on something you're doing outside of yourself versus something that's just like, that's gonna get you ahead. Period. God dang, this is hard to cut up.
Yeah, I'm supposed to take it out. It's supposed to be soft before you start cutting it.
Ooh, so this is a good question. Somebody said, is becoming a nurse as bad as people make it seem? as in being very overwhelming. Someone also mentioned that on TikTok, there have been nurses that have been like really dragging the field of nursing and how like overwhelming it is. And honestly, it can be very overwhelming. I'm not like trying to down their experience because it's true. Like sometimes you have like really sucky days. Sometimes it's like very overwhelming, like very stressful. That's just the nature of the job. However, I think the rewards outweigh the stress. And I feel like, why are you looking at me?
I'm just looking at you.
You're really I feel like the rewards outweigh like the stressful parts of it. I don't know, I still enjoy it. Even though I'm stressed out, like at the end of the day when I go home, I'm like, okay, like I made a difference, like I did something. Versus like being stressed out, like I'm not gonna down any other careers, let me not even say that. I just feel like being stressed out in a career that like you help people, you're doing something for somebody outside of yourself makes it a little bit more worth it.
Personally, the way I see it, no matter what job you choose, there's gonna be days where you're stressed. There's gonna be days where you're like, oh, this is cake. So when it comes to nursing, just like any other job, you're gonna have days where you feel kind of defeated. You feel beat up and tattered and, you know, like you've been run through the mill. But like Alexis said, you know, you're doing it for other people. I mean, you know, it pays the bills and it's not bad at all. And especially a lot of these jobs, you work 3/12s. So although you may have a rough week, not every week will be like that. And that rough week is 3 days. Take your 4 days off and relax.
Yeah, have a little vacation every week. Our next question is someone asked, can I be successful as a nurse even though I'm an introvert, current nursing student? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know a lot of my friends that are introverts and you still are like great nurses. You don't have to have this like big personality, like willing to like talk to anybody. Cause sometimes I still honestly consider myself an introvert.
To go behind her, yeah, I feel like you can be an introvert and be a nurse. Just because you're an introvert doesn't hinder your skills. So you could be an amazing nurse. I know some nurses that are introverts that know way more than me, better at a lot of skills than me. So
yeah,
absolutely.
And honestly, your personality is like, no.
You just go jump on top. Goodness gracious, you have to do a lot of editing.
Yes, I feel like it doesn't. Biscuit! Get back. I feel like, yes, absolutely you can be an introvert and still be a great nurse. Honestly, even if you have to fake it till you make it, because nursing is a lot of customer service and what have you. As long as you can be nice to people, you know, be courteous, take care of people's needs, it doesn't matter what kind of personality you have. Okay, someone asked, would you rather start an IV or an NG tube? That is like a no-brainer. I think both of our favorite skills are IVs. And my least favorite skill actually happens to be an NG tube. I would give an enema, I would do anything. Before starting an NG tube. That's just my least favorite thing to do. What do you think? Because I know your favorite skill is IVs too, right?
Yeah, I would say IVs definitely my favorite skill. NG tubes.
I'm just gonna do this.
Okay. NG tubes aren't necessarily hard, but NG tubes do not feel good.
They're so uncomfortable.
So to be honest, IVs don't feel good either. Let's be honest. But NG tubes, like, they really don't feel good. It's kind of like that COVID swab, but times 10.
Times 10, because it's going back down to like your stomach, literally.
Yeah.
And I just hate watching them get placed because the patients always look so in pain. Ugh, it's just the worst. NG tubes are the worst. What is funny? So this meal is supposed to take, I believe, oh my gosh, our instructions are like glued to the table. This meal takes 30 minutes. So we are almost done. We just gotta get a couple more things on the stove. I think we're gonna do, oh, it's right in front of me, our couscous next. Okay, so we're gonna answer 2 more questions. One of the last questions is, would you recommend working in a PEDS ER as a new grad? I always say, if you know for a fact that you want to do something, just go straight into it. Like, don't waste your time doing another field just to get experience when it's like, you know, you don't want to stay there. So if you want to do pediatrics, I'm gonna hurt myself with this. If you know you want to do pediatrics, yeah, absolutely, jump into it. It definitely is a huge learning curve jumping straight into the ER because it's a very stressful environment. But again, you're gonna have to learn eventually. So if you know that's what you want to do, then absolutely jump into it.
I feel like starting off in the ER is not a bad gig at all.
I mean, because we both did. We both started off in the ER.
Yeah, we did. Starting off in the ER kind of trains you a little bit in everything. So whenever you want to transfer somewhere else, or if you want to continue to stay in the ER, basically you have a little knowledge about everything. So you know a little bit about the lungs, the heart, the stomach, different symptoms, different ways to treat. Although you don't go in depth as they do on the floor or the ICU, you still know a little bit about everything. So I think starting at the ER is not bad.
Yes. Same, sister.
One of the questions that we got. Alright.
Go.
One of the questions that we got were, how do you deal with anxiety when you're new? One of the main things I always say is ask a lot of questions. Yes. Make sure that you don't get too comfortable and you just kind of say F it and you just do something without verifying it. Because the last thing you want to do is give a medicine or do something the wrong way and cause serious harm to somebody. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. It's always better to look stupid, even though nobody really is going to ever think you're stupid for asking. But you always rather ask than do something without knowing it, because at the end of the day, as a nurse, your main goal is to keep your patients safe and provide good care. And so you don't want to feel embarrassed to ask and then end up making a mistake or harming somebody. So do not ever be scared to ask, ever. Okay, our food is almost done. We're gonna do one more question. Our last question is, I'm having a hard time with nursing school. How much from school do you really need for nursing? Good question.
Take as much as you can from school. Mm-hmm. You will learn a lot of new things on the job, for sure. But take as much as you can from school, because they teach you some critical things that will be applied at work. Yeah. And one key thing is sometimes they tell you things not to do. And the last thing you want to do is be that new nurse on the unit and you're trying to push IV potassium on somebody or something that's going to, harm your patient. So pay attention.
Yes, I also feel like for me, I learn by knowing the physiology of things. And so in nursing school, that's something that they teach you. I don't really feel like they teach you how to work on a unit as a nurse. I don't think nursing school does that. What it does is give you the background knowledge to build from. So it's like teaching you the basics, the backbones of everything, and then you build on. Now, when it comes to things like acid base, electrolytes, things like the molecular levels of everything, I don't remember a lot of that stuff. Chemistry, all that, barely know any of that stuff. But a lot of the physiology, the body processes, how things work, that is I think important to know, because you're knowledgeable to know.
Agreed.
All right, that was our last question, and we're gonna show you guys our finished meal. Okay, so this is our finished meal. If you guys, I'm gonna flip it and watch the whole food. Look at the smoke coming out. So we have our panko crusted garlic aioli chicken, and then we have our chopped broccoli and our couscous with roasted tomatoes. Guys, bomb as heck. Don't forget to check out the link below if you guys want to try green chop for yourself. And thank you guys so much for watching. Period.